All right. Hot Breathiverse, welcome back. This is the Hot Breath Podcast, the show where you learn comedy from the pros. This is our new series we're doing in quarantine called Comedians on Skype Talking Comedy. This is the show where you get to ask your favorite comedians your favorite comedy questions. If you are listening to this on the podcast or watching on YouTube, you've got to join our Facebook group. There's over 700 members from around the world that get to connect and ask questions to comedians like today's guest, who had a brain tumor and then created a comedy special about it. This is a must-watch comedy special for any comedian or any real comedy fan. It's going to change your perspective of not only what is possible with a comedy special, but also just what is possible in life. So without further ado, please welcome to the Hot Breathiverse, the one and only Kyle Grooms, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Kyle, everyone.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for that nice introduction, man.
Yeah.
You know, spit hot breath. I like that. He spit hot breath on that thing, though.
Already, my man.
Where'd you come up with that name? Hot breath.
Man, we've been doing it around 5 years, and like back in the day, I was a big fan of NPR's Fresh Air.
Whoa.
And it just like, I liked the quick hit of like fresh air, so I was just trying to think of two words together, and then hot breath.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then it stuck.
Oh, sweet. Okay, now you ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you doing this, man, from your balcony. This is great. So
yeah.
I mean,
I can't be inside because my kids are like screaming and you know, they're going nuts.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you to take time to do this, because it's cool about this timing. Kevin Hart was just on Joe Rogan talking about how his near-death experience changed his entire perspective on time and priority. And I'd be interested to hear what effect that near-death experience had on you.
Well, me, I'm always like, I live a positive life anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But after the surgery, it just, my give a fuck level just kind of went, you know, like I don't care anymore. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't kill me. I'm already dead. You know, like I guess I'm a little braver, more fearless, less tolerant of bullshit. You know, and yeah, that's what happened with me. I realized that you know, I can die. You know what I mean? My mortality is, you know what I mean? It's possible. And yeah, I want to be here for my kids. I want to see how, you know, I saw like how close I was to not being here for my daughters. You know, like now when I'm with them. I'm sorry.
No, please keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, it's like now when I'm with them, I almost feel like I'm dreaming. Like when I'm having moments with my daughters, like I feel like, am I dead? Did I go to heaven?
Yeah.
Am I just like, did I die? And I'm like, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Did you see? I'm sorry. Yeah, and with Skype, I'm still getting the rhythm of these of like, when is there a delay, or when are they done, and when do I? There's like, it's a weird communication, but we're still going to have a great interview. But, like, I'd be interested to... I hadn't heard you talk about this part of it. How close did you actually get in terms of, did you see the light, or was there a moment of, like, wait, I'm dead, or, like, something's happening, like, on the other side type deal?
No. Because what I had was the seizure. I had a seizure, which, like, once I started having a seizure, I was able to catch myself and just breathe. Like I said, okay, all right, I can't control anything right now, but I can control my breathing. If I breathe, I know that, like, you know, I'm alive, I'm okay. So I just breathed, and once I was able to breathe, I was able to center myself, and then I started sweating profusely, and the paramedics showed up, and I was able to walk myself to the gurney and then get on it and then go to the hospital. So it was like, I was conscious through the whole thing. I even, the joke I told in my special about taking my vegan food to go, I actually ate it in the emergency room. Like after they ran all the tests and all that, I ate it in the ER. You know what I mean? So I was conscious of the whole thing. I didn't have a headache. I didn't have any. It was just that there was a pool of blood on my left frontal lobe, which was was deteriorating my speech and my movement, my arm movement. My right arm, my right side was done, bro.
Yeah, you said you couldn't even sign the papers, like, in the hospital.
Nah, I had to put an X.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what was the vegan food? What did you eat?
Oh, I ate there's a place in Hollywood, Florida. It was a vegan gyro. It was a gyro, like a vegan gyro. And I love gyros, you know, and that's what I miss about eating meat. But they made a plant-based one out of I don't know, it was out of seitan or something. And it was a gyro and some fries.
How long have you have well, I don't want to say vegan. You like you talk about in the special, but
plant-based.
Like plant-based. Yeah, plant-based. Yeah. How long had you been plant-based?
Probably at least 4 years. And it happened naturally, you know what I mean? I was in Cincinnati doing a show, and I was craving barbecue. Like, I couldn't wait to get my hands on some barbecue. But once I got it, I had all the side dishes, the hush puppies, the collard greens, and I had my barbecue chicken. And while I'm cutting it off the bone, I was just like seeing the tendons and the muscles, and I just felt disgusted. And I became conscious, I'm eating a dead animal. There's like a carcass on my plate that's probably been in the fridge. I don't know how long. It's been frozen. They killed it. It's not even a fresh kill. And I'm eating this shit. I just felt like a beast. And I haven't touched meat ever since.
Oh,
I decided maybe I'll go, or maybe I'll be a pescatarian. But then even fish and living animals just started weirding me out eating that, you know, and then digesting it, and it's sitting in my system that whole, and I'm digesting a dead animal off the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you feel a big difference.
I just said, yeah. Are you plant-based too?
No. I've gone through phases, but I'm saying you feel a difference of like when you eat something healthy versus you eat something that just like makes you want to take a nap, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you think that impacted like your recovery within like this entire medical situation? Like, do you think being plant-based, did they say anything about maybe that helping with recovery or anything?
Possibly. I think probably too what helped my recovery is that I work out a lot. Like, just for fun, I go to work out. I'm like, you know, just because, you know, I'm older and I want to keep my body energy, you know, and I work out. Like, even in the hospital, when they had to check my heart rate, they were nervous because my heart rate it was like an athlete's heart rate. Not to brag, like I'm athletic, you know. But
yeah, you out here.
I had the heart rate of an athlete, like, you know what I mean? So, like when I went to sleep, you know, they have you on a monitor, and my heart was just like, boo, boo. Like they thought I was dying, but I was perfectly fine.
Wow. And that's because that's what Kevin Hart said with his was like, if he didn't have such a strong core, then he would have been paralyzed. Like the impact would have paralyzed him.
I'm sure that helped Kevin a lot, though. Definitely with that kind of injury and being physically fit. Yeah. He keeps it tight, man. You got to keep it tight, bro.
Yeah, and he was just one of like the countless comics that like contribute to your GoFundMe. I mean, you're trying to raise $75,000. You raised over $100,000. I mean, that's got to be gratifying.
Actually, I think the first thing was 50 or something.
Oh, okay.
The first was 50, and then it went up to 75. Then it went up, and then it went past that. You know. Yeah, I was sitting in the hospital like, wow. I was so freaked out by it. You know,
it's got to be rewarding though, of like, oh man, I guess people do care type deal.
People care, man.
Yeah,
people care about me, man. You never think, you know, because you become family and you become friends with all these people, but you know you're working and you have business relationships, but you don't know how deep it goes. And then, you know, I don't know. I guess it all comes back to you, you know.
Yeah, and
how you treat people. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's important. I think in this business that a lot of comics overlook is like actually just being a good person to work with will get you more work.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't treat comedy people like that because of something else, but because of the work. But it's just that we're a fraternity, and you want to have good work relationships, and people are different. You got different walks of. Comics are a different breed of people, and I just think we get enough pressure without not being nice to each other and letting your ego go. You know?
So you mentioned the the seizure, and I won't give away the story, but I definitely wanted to dive into the process of creating humor around something that is seemingly unfunny. That was probably what I was most forward to looking for in the special, was like, how does he turn this into comedy? Because on the surface, as you read it, I had a brain tumor. It's like, where are you going to find comedy? So what was the process of like mining for like material that is like ready for a comedy special on something that almost killed you?
I mean, the whole situation, like, there were funny things, like, I don't know, comic, like, when I started freaking out, my daughters were like freaking out. They were like, Daddy, I don't like this game. And then someone gave them a cell phone, and then they were fine. Like, okay, bye, Daddy. They didn't care. So, see how you laughed? But that's like a little thing. And then the paramedics showing up, and they had Proud Boy haircuts, and they were kind of like, and I was kind of like looking at them. They were looking at me. You know what I mean? It was just like, that's the funny thing. The vegan food. There's a lot of funny elements in tragedy. Comedy and tragedy come right along with each other.
So what was?
I guess death could be funny. I guess it depends on how you die.
But it's one thing to tell the story of this happened, but to actually make it consistent punchlines and really weave in the humor while also weaving in the humanity, which you balanced beautifully within it. Of even like, you take us to the moment of I remember to breathe. So the story really takes us up and down. So did you?
Oh, wow.
Did you first like type it all out and then go back and start to insert the punchlines? Like, how do you actually create it?
No, we filmed the documentary stuff, and then we filmed the stand-up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose material that I knew, okay, I know I want to talk about my family, my love life, my wife, and how that affected me, because these are the things that I almost lost, these were the people who all was there with me when it happened. So I wanted to paint that picture. And then you just hope that the video and the stand-up works off of each other. And that's where the job of the editor comes in. My editor did an amazing job, man. Darwin Phillips did a copy edit post.
Yeah.
Did a wonderful job editing it. Because when I first saw the stand-up alone, I was kind of like,
Oh,
like,
really?
you got to, I was like, this is, it was hard to watch, But then once we started chopping it down and getting the little pieces out, and then juxtaposing the dramedy, the comedy with the drama, then it started to flow together better. So then that's what created. My editors was part of what helped me create that flow. Because we just had a bunch of puzzle pieces on the table that you have to put together. Because there's actually a lot of stand-up that I did. I did an hour worth of stand-up in that special, which I'll put on my album, but not on my special. It'll be on my CD.
Gotcha.
And not my special. So the special, I wanted to keep a half hour tight and short and tell that story. And then the Brain Humor album will have all the other, like, I do an Obama impression. I talk about other stuff. You know what I mean? I talk about Trump. I do all that other stuff that didn't have anything to do with,
Mm-hmm.
the special, the incident.
But yeah, I want to get into like the joke writing behind the incident in terms of like how I like how you structure the flow of the special in terms of the sequencing of it, to where you kind of like, you take us through your beginning, middle, and end and aftermath. Like, you really take us through the whole journey. But if we look at the story of you taking us to the vegan restaurant and you go through that whole story arc, I mean, storytelling is something a lot of comics struggle with. So you've been doing comedy over 20 years. So, I mean, what kind of tips do you have when it comes to storytelling?
With storytelling, I like to, my tip, and I watched this from Richard Pryor's Rhythm.
Okay.
Richard Pryor will tell a straight joke, a straight line, and then the next line will be a punchline. And it kind of pulls you through the story. Like, it's like, I went to the store the other day, and then bop, 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 bop. That's the pepper. That's the funny. And then you go to the next straight line, and then you pull it. You have to find, you almost damn near like a rapper looking for a punchline. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but you don't want to tell too much without a funny part.
Right.
Let me see if I can get an example. Like a lot of part that I left out of that story is before we went to that restaurant, we went to another vegan restaurant that was in Little Haiti. But the restaurant, it was a food truck. It had no bathroom. And my daughter was like, oh, I don't want to eat here. So then it was like, I don't want to eat this, Daddy. You know, my daughter's bougie, you know, basically. So then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these are the fun. So, and then being a progressive parents, me and my wife, we chose to go to another place. But had it been my mother, she would have been like, no, you're going to sit here and eat this food that we got. You know what I mean? So these are all jokes that the situation is funny. It's funny enough. It's just a lot of funny. And then on the car ride to this vegan restaurant, my wife was driving me crazy with my driving. You know what I mean? Like, because I was driving. She thought I couldn't drive. So I had all this pressure building up on the way to the vegan restaurant. Do you know what I mean? And so by the time we got there, I was already a mess. So then once you hear that story where we went in, we sat down, blah, 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 blah. And then we sat down, but there's funny all through that. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's funny situations. My wife complained about my driving. We got to the place, there was a car parked all fucked up, so I had to park. There was a lot of situations that were funny about that.
So, but I guess maybe for like economy of words, instead of saying we went here and then drove and it got her upset, you kind of get that across with the switching of the tables, all of that like tension building up to this moment. Is that kind of the point of you guys switching tables, is to kind of build the stakes within the relationship?
Because we chopped a lot out just because it wasn't working with the flow. But is because it wasn't that. The part that I just told you was what we kind of left out, because there was the whole day was kind of funny. There was incidents that were funny leading up to my seizure that I took note of, you know, that you can make funny situations. But we edited it down to the most economic parts, you know, so the story wouldn't drag on for the special.
And speaking of like the business of a comedy special, because I just released one in February, and I'm selling it through my website. A lot of comics are just giving it away for free on YouTube as well. Like, what was your thinking behind Amazon and releasing it via that way versus just throwing it on YouTube or trying to sell it yourself?
Because if I didn't have time to go for Netflix or to try to smooth them, you know, and I just thought it was the next step down, you know. Amazon is the next platform is Amazon. Actually, Amazon is damn near a mix between YouTube and Netflix. If you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, you know. So I chose Amazon, you know, and Amazon has that brand, and it's all over the world, and it kind of, I don't know. I think YouTube. I saw Mark Norman got over 1 million views on his YouTube, right? But it's just YouTube is so accessible. I want it to be a little more less accessible. It's accessible, but you know, on a platform kind of like Netflix.
Yeah, that was my thinking with releasing it. Like, I self-produced it and all that, and like released it via my website, because I was like, part of me was like, I don't want to release it on YouTube. And then people are seeing like Mark Norman and Sam Morril with like millions, and then mine has like a few thousand, and versus also like showing comics that, hey, you can produce your own special, sell it, you don't have to give it away, and you can make your money back. Like, I was kind of trying to pave that path as well.
I see. But if this is your first special then?
Yeah, 10-year, released it on my 10-year anniversary, yeah.
Oh, dope. Yeah, I feel you. Yes. Yeah, then you're good to sell it after your shows for $5 or whatever. I don't know, but you know your marketing plan. Because this is my second self-produced special. My first one was Miami Nights that I did in 2005 on DVD. So yeah, it was a DVD special. Yeah,
Miami.
Which I may go and
go ahead.
I may go and put that on Amazon too. But this one I'll probably put behind a paywall because the one that I have, Brain Humor, is free if you have Amazon Prime or if you're Amazon Prime member. But the Miami Nights I'll probably put on under maybe charge $5 or something to see it.
Yeah, you should. I mean, if people are willing to pay to save your life, they'll be willing to pay to watch your comedy special. It's got such a great story behind it too. So let's jump into some of these questions here, shall we? So, a member of what we call the Hot Breathiverse here. His name is actually Kyle Groom, singular.
Oh, word!
Yeah,
Kyle
yeah.
Groom, what's good, B? You could do check fraud or something,
I think
steal my identity. I don't know.
Well, he's a white guy. From New Jersey. So y'all have
I'm from Jersey too. I'm from Jersey too, nigga. What's up?
We
what
made
part
it.
Of Jersey.
Yeah. What part of Jersey, Kyle? We'll have to see what he says. But
That's insane.
He was super jazzed about this, and his question was, let me see. Oh, he kind of did a two-parter. Let's get to the first part first. But he's asking, what was the process for putting material together from a potential deadly event, and did it take time to get perspective, or did it all come quickly?
It came quickly because I was at home recovering, and you have time to think about those things. But I couldn't drive for 6 months, and I live in Miami now, so I had to get out to the open mics. And Miami, there's only open mics that you can work, and then there's legit comedy clubs, but mostly open mics. And most of the comics in Miami are under 5 years doing comedy. So I'm a professional hanging out in the kids' gym.
Yeah.
But it's good. We're building a scene in Miami now, and a lot of the comics are getting much better. But I started in September. I couldn't drive for 6 months, so my surgery was in March. I started working on my material the end of September, and I just went out every night, every other night in October, November, December. Then in December, I produced a show in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, which is my hometown, and I promoted it, marketed it, and that's where I got this set on its legs. Like, I ran the whole hour because. And before then, I was doing 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, sets. Now I'm going to try to put it together for the whole hour in front of my hometown crowd. And this will be a good start. And then the rest of December, I continued to work on it. And then I booked a headline week at the Dead Crow Comedy in Wilmington, North Carolina. And that's where I got to run it 4 shows the weekend before we taped the special. And I was still a little, I'm still, because when you're producing something and you're doing the creative, your brain is flipping back and forth.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. So
the production and the performance suffers sometimes, and you got to kind of be able to your mind back when it's time to perform.
Yeah.
Because you're worrying about the lighting, the sound, you're worrying about the stage, the set, the people, your guests, the whoop, everything. So. But, hey, we did it, and it came out okay.
I thought it came out great, and you did 2 shows, like one in front of friends and family, and then you did a taping in front of, like, a general audience. So, I mean, I'm sure you got some good stuff with that variety of audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, producing mine, it was like, even I walked out and there wasn't a camera we have supposed to be on stage set up. It wasn't there, so I was just like, all right, let's just reset. I leave it all in the special, but like it's the whole intro. I walk out and then I'm like, this isn't set up. Guys, will you just come fix this? It's like in the middle. This is my first special, but then you're also the producer brain, and it's something I think I mean, with comedians now, I mean, you've been doing it 20 years, and we were talking with Jimmy.
25 years.
25, sorry, over 20. 25. I did not mean to discount those 5 years.
No.
You were doing comedy way back before Miami was underwater. So it's but it is now. We were talking to Jimmy Schubert yesterday on here, and he's been doing over 30 years, and he was talking about like the power is now in the comedian's hands to create their own success. And I feel like people seeing comics like you creating your own special and distributing it yourself and all that, it just only makes it possible for them to start finding their own opportunities.
Yeah. My friend Marina Franklin put the battery in my back to produce my own special, because she did one with Comedy Dynamics, and there's a budget and all that stuff. So she said, "Hey, Kyle, just do it yourself, bro." You know what I mean? And I have production background. Before I was a full-time comedian, I was an art director.
Oh, at Univision, right?
Stations. At Univision, yeah. So, and I mean, I've worked for every network: NBC, ABC, CBS. So I know people in production. I know, set designers. I know camera people. I know all of this stuff. So I'm like, hey, I might as well, hey, put together a squad.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, great question, Kyle. Oh, and he said he's from Woodbridge, right by where you're from.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, bro. You like... This dude is like the Bizarro Kyle or something. Like, you live... Woodbridge is a town next to me. Like, I live on the Woodbridge, Perth Amboy border.
Wow.
On Florida Grove Road. I live on Gornick Drive. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all came up together, maybe.
Yeah, Woodbridge High. I used to go to Woodbridge High School to study when I really wanted to, because they had good books,
Oh,
good
right.
They had a good library at Woodbridge High School. Yeah.
You started from the bottom, now we're here.
Now we're here. Wow.
Wow, what are the odds? That's so cool. All
That's
right.
Crazy.
Mark Mitchell asks, the 20 year of comedy, he said, what made you go full-time, and how long into your career did it take?
I started in 95. I went full-time in 2000. I started like on the urban comedy scene, and so I was able to, like, people were headlining me before, like if I would have been, I started in Miami, so there wasn't a lot of comics in Miami that, that just around, and they'd have to fly people in, so people would book me to headline, so I had to get strong fast. And once I got good enough to feed myself, and I sold my house, and I went full-time comedy. I can't even believe it now. I'm looking at this. I think I'm crazy. I must have been crazy to do that.
Wait, you sold your house to go full-time comedy? Like, to get money to become a comedian? To
just not have the burden of a mortgage while I'm trying to pursue comedy. And I said, if I could just get enough money to buy another house, I'm good. But I sold it, and just to live off of, and for the first few years, and to get me by. But I didn't even really need. It wasn't. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, we all are. Yeah, in hindsight. How long into your career was that? Because you were headlining like 2 or 3 years in, which is
2 to 3 years
insane to like think about. Be on stage that long.
I did Def Comedy Jam my second year in comedy. Def Comedy Jam was in L.A. But it was crazy. I can't even believe I was headlining that early. Yeah. And I probably, my material probably wasn't all amazing, but
you did it. Pressure makes diamonds. Yeah.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
But we can hear you though. We can hear you better.
Oh, okay.
So you're good with the mic.
I'm outside. Yeah. All right.
It's all good. Yeah. Let's we'll just see. Your kids were running in and out. We'll just run through 2 more here. For Bo Johnson asks, what is your writing routine? Like, what is your process, and how much time do you spend?
My writing, it happens organically. Like, when I'm home during the day, just cleaning and smoking weed, my best material comes. When I'm alone and like, I can be good, then I hit a little blunt, then I start writing. It's just whatever. Just at home during the day, driving in my car. I don't have a set sit down and write. If I get an idea, boom, I jot it down, and I put it on a little note, and I'll go to the stage with it that night or whatever.
And just talk about it.
You don't talk about it.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't write it out. I don't. I'll write the name of the joke. Like.
Ooh, that loud.
I don't know. That loud. Now I'm getting dry too. But yeah, I'll just write notes. Like just a little 2 words of what the joke is. But I know what it is in my head, and hopefully I could remember it when it's time, when the people are in front of me.
Yeah, and do you record your sets and then review what worked and what didn't work, or what's the evolution?
When I was doing my special, I did that because I try to be extra professional. Like, I force myself to, but normally I really don't. I really don't. I know I'm like Jay-Z. I know my lyrics in my head. You know what I mean? I kind of edit in my head, and I know word economy is very important, especially when you do a special. So I try to remember what words here that, like even now I go and I look at my special. It's hard to watch because, I know I could have made those words more tight. I could have used less words. I could have used less words.
I feel you on that. We're always going to be our worst critic, though. I mean, it's a killer special, so I wasn't like, I wonder why he left that in. Like it was tight throughout.
Sweet.
And now, young comics listening, I just want you to understand this is coming from a comic who's been doing it 25 years. So learn how to write jokes first. Learn the rules, and then you can break them. But this is a veteran who says he can now just go on stage. I've seen so many comics go to an open mic and just be like, I'm just going to figure it out. They'll say, I'm Jay-Z, and then they just do that for the rest of their lives. Like, it's like...
No.
Yeah, learn the rules, and then you can
especially when
break
I'm really working on something.
Yeah,
I have to itemize what I'm gonna say here, there, and then I go back and piece pieces together, parts that go together. Yeah,
cool.
I do notes.
All right, and this is a good one to end on because it is about producing a special. Let me see. This is a good one just about, real quick, like, how often should a comic be performing, do you think?
When I'm on, I get on every there was a time I was on stage every night.
Yes.
Like, this is the longest I've been off stage. Well, I mean, last year was the longest I've been off stage because of my surgery, but this is the longest I've been off stage. I don't even know what I'm going to do when I perform. I got a show tonight online that I've never done online comedy. I've never tried it. But I'm going to try it for 5 minutes. Even though I'm opposed to it. But I'm just going to tell a story.
Yeah. And if your town only has like 1 or 2 open mics, do you say like move, start your own, like just travel, like how to maximize that stage time?
Yeah, you got to move, bro. You got to move. If you can't, you got to get on stage. Especially when you just started and trying to get in the rhythm and get comfortable being in front of people and making a room full of strangers laugh. The comedy club has to be like, I used to go to comedy improv when I was hosting. This is when I really first started. And I would throw my jacket over here. It was like home to me. I would,
That's great.
I would do it. I would seat people. I was doing all kinds of stuff that wasn't even, it was like my house. You know what I mean? I was at home at the comedy club. You live in it. Live in it, Yeah. Even my wife now, she had to accept I'm going out to do comedy. She don't even ask me questions. You going out now? Yes. But yes.
Yes. This is what you signed up for.
I'm going out to do, you know what I mean? And I moved to Miami out of New York. So then now I have to even be more on my game because I don't get to see comics who are or A-list, top shelf comics. So now I have to I'm back in the, I don't know if it's the D leagues or whatever, but it's like, it's like going down to a minor league feels. I'm playing with, I'm playing in the minors again.
For sure.
But still trying to keep major skill. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a benefit of being in like a New York is you get around the best, so it only elevates your skill as well.
Yeah, because when I go to New York now, I'm like really looking to see what people are talking about. People, like, wow, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so let's do the final one here from Robin Sutton Clark, who says, besides comedians, who should we assemble as a power production team? Like, is it mixers, producers, editors? Like, what is the team behind it?
The team, I got a good editor, a good cinematographer. You actually need it all. You need a good lighting person because the lighting is very important for a special. Mm-hmm. Audio number one. It has to sound good. That's things I harped on. Like I'm like, make sure the sound is all right, And yeah, you have to get when you shoot a special, you have to get the whole team. I had to get a venue. And then the venue was, it was just a black box theater. So then I had to dress the stage, the set. I even put vinyl on the floor because the floor was it was a stage floor, dusty, dirty. So I put that nice, semi-gloss vinyl on the floor. The little details.
Exactly. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So as we land this plane here, is there any? This is, a comedy education platform. Is there any advice you've found over the years to be like the most helpful to you or something you always fall back on when times are tough in comedy? Like, is there any advice you could leave us with here?
For me, I always study comedy, like Bob Newhart, Bill Cosby, anybody you think you're not into, just comedy. You know what I mean? Shit. I go back to Eddie Cantor. You know what I mean?
Eddie Cantor, okay.
You feel me? It's like you got to be a nerd about this shit. You know what I mean? Because I know people who young comics they don't even know who Richard Pryor is, Dick Gregory, Bill Hicks. You have to be a student of it. You see how they like, and the more you go and get into it, the more you understand. Like I couldn't even know how to listen to. I listen to Richard Pryor differently now, 25 years in the game, than I did 2 years in the game. My ears are different for comedy. Like, oh, I see what he's doing. Like there's a comedy special where Richard Pryor, I think it was Richard Pryor Here and Now Alive, where he was doing crowd work. Because what happened was he was shooting his special, and I guess Patti LaBelle had opened for him, and they went and took a break. He started his coming in after the break, So that's where he started his special. Like you doing that, fixing your camera guy. That's basically what Richard Pryor did on his special. He started with crowd work, but I didn't even notice that when I was now I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. He had to do crowd work in the beginning of his special. It hit different when you are shooting a special and now you know what that was all about, wow.
Awesome. So always be a student. Yeah, that's what we're all here. We're always looking to learn from the best like you. So thanks for your time here, Kyle. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
So
thanks for having me.
Yeah, where can people support? Please let people know like where they can support the special, follow you, all of that good jazz.
Well, if they go to Amazon Prime Video, you can see my special, Brain Humor. You can follow me on IG, Instagram. I'm always on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But yeah, mostly I'm on IG.
Awesome. So go
KyleGrooms.com.
KyleGrooms.com.
Yeah, it's my website.
Go follow Kyle. Support him, please. This special is like a lot of people are releasing specials right now, and this is like a breath of fresh air on just the format of a comedy special. I think it's really, and I'm hoping it inspires other comics to think beyond just like the standard template of a comedy special and really start pushing the medium forward.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to do. Instead of just being a guy talking into a mic for an hour or whatever, just to be able to, and I'm glad I was able to do that with, my situation, turn comedy into tragedy.
Exactly.
Or tragedy into comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, and Robin said she watched it this past weekend, so that's great. Yeah. So go to Amazon Prime, watch Kyle's special. I watched it twice. I cried the second time. I even left an Amazon review from my mom's Amazon Prime account. So
sweet.
Hot Breath the Verse, go forth, support Kyle and everything he does. If you want to get involved in more of these in the future, go into the description of this video or audio, click to join the Hot Breath Facebook group, and we will be back with even more Q&As. Tomorrow we have Jackie Cation. Friday we have Tommy Davidson. So we will see you then, kiddos. Adios.
All right. Peace, bro. Thank you, man. Thanks.